Hello, my name is Brandon Ivey. I am a global power with Shopping Sherlock, and I'm very excited at this moment to do this little quick presentation to let everybody know that e-commerce, something that I really never paid attention to 6 months ago, is literally taking over the world right now, and most people are not positioned or in a vehicle to take advantage of this. This is not a fad. This is a trend that's going to continue to grow. As a matter of fact, we are right now at the beginning of a 10-year golden age of the e-commerce boom. This is the greatest shift in wealth in history, and I'm excited because even though I didn't know about this 6 months ago, the company that I'm a part of is perfectly positioned to take advantage of this. But let's talk about how this is happening. I want to introduce you to a recession-proof global industry where you can own a system to build a network of people and start generating wealth as a business owner instead of just making money. This is the biggest shift of wealth in the history of mankind, and it's taking place in this industry right now, and that industry again is called e-commerce. In fact, I've never been a part of a business before that has so much documentation behind it as well. So much documentation. Every time you turn on the TV, this is what you see. Experts say that this is the beginning of a 10-year window of opportunity. What industry am I and the experts referring to, you might ask? It is the e-commerce is the industry that we are referring to. E-commerce ended 2013 at $1.29 trillion and is increasing by 20+% yearly. Now let me illustrate for you how huge the world of e-commerce trend really is. You don't need to take my word for it. Just turn on the TV. Here's a couple of articles, for example. Here's one that says 5 problems retailers must fix in 2014. Amid aggressive discounting, little foot traffic, and shorter holiday season and severe weather, the end of 2013 was disappointing for retailers. Now, with barely any time to catch its breath, the industry is bracing for even bigger sea changes, such as mounting privacy concerns for massive data breaches and retailers' desire to wean consumers off discounts. Now, as the new year kicks off, retailers are smack in the middle of 3 to 5 years of major changes that will redefine the industry. Major changes. Now, what they mean by this is e-commerce is changing the way big box stores like Walmart, Kmart, Sears, Macy's has to do business. Here's another article. Without rebirth, malls face extinction. What do they mean by that? Well, people aren't going to the mall as much, and when they do, they know exactly what it is that they want, so they're not hanging around, they're not, lingering around the mall doing window shopping. See, when I was a teenager, we went to the mall just to look at girls, eating the food court, and because we were doing all those things, we would shop. You weren't really there for anything in particular. Not anymore today. If you do go to the mall, you know exactly what it is that you want, and if you don't go to the mall, that's because you're buying online. Showrooming left in the dust as shoppers go online. According to a new study, efforts to eliminate showrooming from shoppers' behavior paid off in 2013. As a significantly smaller dollar amount was spent by shoppers who visited a store to try the product. And they only go online to purchase it, usually for a cheaper price. Look at this one. A tsunami of store closings expected to hit retail. Why? Because people aren't going to the stores. Stores are paying a lot of money in rent for the land and the property. Why spend all that money when people aren't even using it? Use that money now to drive traffic to their websites. Look at this one. Mobile commerce statistics. By the end of 2013, more people will use mobile phones than desktop computers to browse the internet. More than half of U.S. mobile subscribers, 54%, owned a smartphone as of June 2012, and 2/3 of them belong to the 24 to 35 age group, which means that these figures will only go up. E-commerce in the Middle East grew 300% in the past year. Walmart Sam's Club to cut 2,300 workers. E-commerce expanding at breakneck pace. Online cross-border trade seen growing fivefold by 2020. The value of online exports in 6 of the top e-commerce markets will grow fivefold to $130 billion by 2020, with Britain currently generating the biggest online trade surplus by selling more goods abroad, research showed. Stores confront new world of reduced shopper traffic. E-commerce not only siphons off sales, but changes shopping habits. See, you see the trend here? This is not a fad. This is a trend that's taking place over and over and over. But these companies are not going out of business like Blockbuster and Hollywood Video did. They are going to change the way they advertise and market their product and service. Best Buy is already getting prepared for that for 2014. And be prepared to see more store closings and more people getting laid off. You think it's a bad economy, but it really is, or a bad recession. There really is no recession. You must move yourself into industries where there is no recession. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Holiday sales up, but fewer people in stores. What? Window shopping is taking on a new meaning for many Americans. The latest sales data from holiday season shows that U.S. shoppers increasingly prefer to research clothes, TVs, and shoes online or virtual window shop before heading to stores. The rise of online entrepreneurs, e-commerce by the numbers. With lower startup costs and a broader reach, a growing number of entrepreneurs are turning to online retail instead of traditional brick-and-mortar businesses. According to data compiled by Ubot Studio, a marketing automation software, e-commerce is a $200 billion industry in the U.S. that is projected to expand by 15% each year. Not only are people going online to shop, they're telling you the new online entrepreneurs are going to e-commerce to make money. Starbucks Schultz. Now why? He says there is a sea change happening in retail. Why would the owner of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, even mention anything about online shopping? You can't buy lattes online. Well, here's something he had to say. He said, luckily that people aren't buying lattes online. If they could, then Starbucks would be among the traditional companies that may get swept away by what Schultz describes as an online sea change encroaching upon the brick-and-mortar retailers, most evident from a lackluster holiday gift-giving season. Reporting first quarter earnings after the bell on Thursday, Starbucks said increased online shopping kept more U.S. consumers at home than usual during the holiday season, which meant less visits to coffee shops in malls and near retail outlets. In an interview with CNBC, Schultz said he believes December represents an inflection point in the growing use of online shopping services and mobile payments. We are navigating through what I believe to be a significant sea change, Schultz said. We're going to be talking about this for quite some time. I would not want to be a traditional brick-and-mortar retailer that did not have mobile payments, that did not have social and digital media. Those companies are going to find themselves significantly challenged in 2014 and beyond. Read more: tsunami of store closings seen hitting retail. This is the owner of Starbucks. Billionaires understand what's taking place. The great wealth transfer. Our company can position you in front of this major marketing trend so that you can take part in the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. And for those of you who still don't understand what's taking place, you have never heard of Shopping Sherlock. I never heard of it 6 months ago. Yet as of right now, it is the #1 fastest growing performer over the last 6 months around the world. And if you're still confused and you don't understand and you think there's a great recession, you must picture money as a river. And on this river, everybody has a fishing net for money. Of course, the wealthy have a bigger net because they have yachts. and they have oil barges in the middle of the deep river, while the rest of us is sitting on the shores of the bank with our one little fishing pole, right? So what happens? What happens when an economic shift in wealth happens as it is right now? You know what they say, in a good economy, wealthy people make money, and in a bad economy, wealthy people make even more money? You want to know why? Because when that shift in the river of money takes place, the wealthy pull up their anchors, pull up their nets, and they move with the river. And they have less competition because why? Not everybody's moving with the river, which means there's more money for them. Where's everybody else? Well, they don't have a vehicle that's moving with the river. They're still sitting on the banks of the shore with their little fishing net or fishing pole, attempting to fish in a dry riverbed, sitting in the same vehicle they were in before that is not moving with the river. And then they hope that the government forces the money in the river to come back their way. It's not going to happen. There's no recession. Just move where there is no recession. Move where the money is. And it is shifting right now. And you can be a part of Shopping Sherlock, which will be the next legacy billion-dollar company. And this company is offering you ownership. How would you like to have ownership in a billion-dollar company? Get back to the person showing you this video. See you next time. My name is Brandon Ivey, Global Power with Shopping Sherlock. Bye-bye.